Welcome to the New Heights Show on Education. I'm Pamela Clark, founder and director of the New Heights Educational Group, and I'm here with David Smith, the founder of Silicon Valley High School, who has helped us get these podcasts produced and delivered to you.
Yes, Pamela, when we saw the great things that you and your army of volunteers were achieving at New Heights, we wanted to get involved. We're happy to work with you to leverage the internet and make quality education accessible and affordable to everyone, everywhere.
Thank you, David. We appreciate Silicon Valley High School helping us to get these podcasts out to the hundreds of thousands of listeners from all over the world. So I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, welcome to the New Heights Show on Education. This is Pamela Clark, founder and director of the New Heights Educational Group and director of the New Heights Show on Education, which is what you're listening to, and owner of it as well. So, we're doing an episode on education in the news. We wish everyone a happy new year. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Back into it. The first story I'm going to share with you is from PND News Alerts from the foundationcenter.org. And it's on the Blank Family Foundation awards $12.25 million for stuttering research. The grant will launch an Atlanta location of the Arthur M. Blank Center for Stuttering Education and Research, which was established at the University of Texas at Austin Moody College of Communication in 2020 with a 10-year, $20 million grant from them. Also in the news, in the University of Texas at San Antonio, they received a $20 million gift from the Bill and Margie Cleese, who helped expand student scholarships, create endowments for faculty recruitment and retention, and support efforts aimed at boosting student success, including tutoring, hands-on learning opportunities, leadership programs, professional development, and so forth. Just from that one, sorry, I got to keep switching back and forth between. As usual, you guys know me by now. Miss any stories? Okay, and then another PND. This is from the Foundation Center again. I've been getting over a cold, I think. The Ford Foundation awarded $20.29 million for independent documentary films. This film is an initiative of the Foundation's Creativity Pre-Expression Program, awarded new and renewal grants in support of 122 filmmakers and organizations in the United States and in the Global South, including more than $5 billion in support of 71 projects, 49 of them new grantees. The 73% of grant dollars going to filmmakers identifying as Black, or people of color. So if you're interested in that, there's a deadline. I don't see any deadlines on this. So you can always look up the Ford Foundation, Just Films, it's one word, Just Films. And then if you're interested in having access to that. Oklahoma State received $50 million to establish Energy Institute. They get the $25 million from Harold Hand Foundation and $25 million from Continental Resources. The energy company Ham founded will provide initial funding for Ham Institute for American Energy. Another, this for ASCD Smart Brief. The CDC supports test to stay policies for schools. The CDC on Friday said schools' test to stay policies are on par with quarantining. The move comes after research from Los Angeles and Lake County, Illinois, near Chicago, found that coronavirus infections did not rise when schools allowed students to remain in the classroom if they tested negative for the virus. Also in the same briefing, the teachers are education's most critical asset. The KVM Learning Group is launching the Honest Conversations campaign to highlight the value and professional respect that teachers deserve. This video showcases the challenges and opportunities that our teachers have faced over the past year. School librarian learns to give herself space. Kimberly Ruse, a school librarian in Lee's Summit, Missouri, says she made an intentional shift to try to give herself a little space in the day. In his commentary, Ruse writes that her calendar is still full and her to-do list is long, but she tries to set aside breathing room. And there's a full story on this. Not sure why. It's on edsurge.com. It's titled Educators Next Year, Let's Give Ourselves a Little More Space by Kimberly Ruse, R-U-E-S. There'd be better things they could report, right? There's under technology in classrooms, says how one district kept students on track during pandemic. The Lindsay Unified District in California was able to keep students mostly on track during the shift to remote learning during the coronavirus pandemic. The district's success is being tied to performance competency-based approach to education. The Wall Street Journal reports that the student behavioral issues are on the rise. In the Washington Post reports, schools add more half days to tackle teacher burnout. And USDA announces a $1.5 billion to support school meals. State and school districts will receive $1.5 billion in federal funds to help support meal programs and guidelines on how to spend money. How to spend the money will be released as early as January. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack said Friday the School Nutrition Association is extremely grateful for USDA's ongoing support and regulatory waivers for school nutrition professionals as they confront supply chain challenges, said Lori Atkins, president-elect of SNA. In a statement, these new funds help school meal programs manage higher costs while allowing students to continue enjoying nutritious, American-grown foods in school meals. Pfizer is to test third dose of COVID-19 vaccine in kids under 5 years of age. I think everybody knows what I think about this. But it says Pfizer BioNTech announced that they will test a third dose of their COVID-19 vaccine in children 5 and younger, as the companies found that 2 doses did not trigger an immune response in some children compared to immune response found in babies under the age of 2. Okay, that should be concerning to you. The decision is to evaluate a third dose of micrograms for children 6 months to under 5 years of age, reflects the company's commitment to carefully selecting the right dose to maximize the risk benefit, said Pfizer in a statement. CNN also reported this. Look it up. I think they reported on 12/17. For the state and local board of education and local news here in Ohio, Boardman program helps create pathways to technology careers. And the Youngstown Vindicator reported Boardman High School has introduced Youngstown State University Assured Digital Microelectronics Education and Training Ecosystem, known as ADMET. It's like ADMETE. After school program for its students, and it's happening this year. The program seeks to develop a pipeline of trained engineering professionals to required skills and assured and trusted microelectronics solutions. The program's outreach coordinator, Shantae Burton, said the pilot program started out of a need for microchips for the U.S. Department of Defense. And then in another story, reported from Newark advocate Mulaney, Tech delivers strong career technical education and community, and it shows. They report recently CTech hosted a visitor from California, a writer and podcaster to a national audience who had never seen Ohio's delivery of career technical education and wanted to do so. Questions, comments as he toured our secondary and post-secondary centers reminded me just how important CTech is to our students and local economy. And while it seems so much of the news is dominated by the negative indicators in the economy and the difficulties our employers are having in meeting their workforce needs, that visit and his impression of the importance of CTE reassured me that we are on the right path. Marion Star reports that local students win an $18,000 worth of scholarships at a math challenge. After the pencils were put down and the calculators were put away, the local high school students were awarded $18,000 of scholarships from Marion Technical College and the Ohio State University at Marion. A total of 113 students from 6 area schools, Elgin, Harding, North Union, Pleasant, Ridgedale, and River Valley, came to the Marion campus to test their math prowess in the annual OSU MTC Marion Math Challenge. And the Willoughby News Herald reported that Mad City Money Competition yields $12,000 in scholarships. Mentor High School students' recent efforts participating in a new educational contest ended up going above and beyond anticipated conclusions at the Mentor Paradigm building. Originally set up to award $5,000 scholarship money through Mad City Money Competition, a collaborative community endeavor with Cardinal Credit Union and the school, the prize was eventually increased to $12,000 due to a four-way tie between 12 students. Amazing is that, right? Okay, also, Cleveland.com reports that Homestead Falls High School Student Council completes another successful food drive. Homestead Falls High School's annual Student Council food drive exceeded expectations this holiday season, collecting more than 5,330 cans that will help the underprivileged in the community. Each year, our Student Council sponsors a food drive around the holidays, said Homestead Falls High School Health Elective teacher, Bridget Radigan, who is not only the Student Council advisor, but also the girls' varsity volleyball coach. How great is that? Okay, this next bit of information that I'm going to share after our next commercial break in a moment is from ASCD K-12 Leadership Smart Brief. And we will be right back.
Hello, listeners. If you're enjoying the New Heights show on education and want to support or donate to our organization, please visit www.newheightseducation.org. And while you're there, check out our online store at new-heights-educational-group.myshopify.com.
Welcome back. This is your host, Pamela Clark, and I'm sharing news, educational news, and let's get right back into it. Reports offer ideas for transforming schools' vision, embracing community partnerships and foregoing age-based progression, and reactive leading in favor of self-paced methods and whole child focus are among the ideas offered by Daniel Dominic, director of AASA, School Superintendents Association, and Jeff Wetzler, co-founder of the nonprofit Transcend Education. In this opinion, they point to detailed suggestions on adopting a bold vision of redesigning schools with two recent reports by AASA and Transcend Education. You can read the full story about this at the it switched when I was opening, k12dive.com, and just look up the issues of school redesign, if not now, when. Got out. So students learn about career pathways in education. Middle school students in Virginia recently participated in a career fair event in which they learned about potential jobs with the school building. That included learning what it takes to lead a school while serving as principal for the day. The full story can be found at the Virginia Gazette in Williamsburg, dated December 16th. This next report is from Smart Brief on EdTech, and it's under top news. How one district kept students on track during pandemic. The Lindsay Unified District, California, was able to keep. Okay, we had actually shared that a little while ago. This one, they did a full story on it as well on the Hechinger report. That's Hechinger. Reading. Again, a lot of repeated stuff I have to sort through. Okay, on e-learning, or under e-learning on this briefing, it says how teachers can use Pinterest like a search engine. The concept of using Pinterest as a teaching resource is not novel, but teachers should revisit the social platform if they have not used it recently. According to Monica Burns, an educational consultant. In this article, Burns says teachers can make the most of Pinterest by thinking of it more as a search engine. This full story can be found on Edutopia, EDUTOPIA, and it was written on 12/17. CDC reports that they support test to stay policies for schools. The CDC on Friday said schools' test to stay policies are on par with quarantining. The moves comes after research from Los Angeles and Lake County, Illinois, near Chicago, found the coronavirus infections did not rise when schools allowed students to remain in the classroom if they tested negative for the virus. I heard a little bit about this before, but others have picked it up since then. It has like the Washington Post, which is one I think I reported on in this episode. The Associated Press and Education Week also covered this story. Find it on any of those. Cyberbullying trends emerges on Instagram. Some middle school students are creating anonymous Instagram accounts used to share gossip about their classmates. The latest form of cyberbullying, and some parents asking schools to take a more active role in shutting down the account, and is raising questions over who is responsible for student actions online. It was covered by the Wall Street Journal. And to me, this is crazy. I mean, parents are responsible for what their children are doing online, in my opinion. But if they're accessing them in the schools, then the schools would be responsible as well. But parents really need to be monitoring their children. We're living in dangerous, unstable times, and parents need to be more active and proactive in advocating for their children. Don't get themselves in trouble. And not just in this way, but in other ways as well. Safety is a real issue, especially with the human trafficking. So, you know, don't be bashful about protecting your children. It's very important. Okay, so this is from the Christian Science Monitor, and the New York Times reported the story on tech was used to warn the communities about tornado outbreaks. Forecasters and warning systems let residents of the states affected by recent tornadoes know about what was to come. 20 years ago, we thought that the public was pretty ignorant about weather risk. And what we have learned in the past 5 years is that they know way more than we expected, said Stephen Stratter, a hazards geographer at Villanova University. Still, even with warnings, people don't necessarily know how to respond, Stratter noted. This next one is from Ohio Ed Update Connection. Now, I will say throughout this month, or January 1st to the 31st, people can nominate teachers for torch honors if they are in Ohio. So you go on the Ohio Department of Education website and just type in torch, but they are accepting nominations. So if you know a teacher that deserves it and they are teachers in Ohio and they live in Ohio, you might want to check that out. Now, the special education profiles are being released. 2021, 2022 special education profiles are being released in 2 phases. Phase 1 is available now, and you can find that. Just go to education.ohio.gov and then type in special education profiles, and you'll be able to get their report. Okay, if you're interested. Also reporting in this is the federal quota registration of blind students due February 18th. December 14th, the Assistive Technology and Accessible Education Materials Center at Macaulay, on behalf of the department, securely, emailed the annual federal quota registration of blind students to all Ohio districts. You can find this information at education.ohio.com or .gov, and type in federal quota. So coming up, Ohio Children's Trust Fund Award Art Contest bring awareness to child abuse prevention. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. As part of its annual prevention and awareness campaign, the Ohio Children's Trust Fund established Everyday Ohio Heroes Award and Youth Art Contest. To find it, you can go to education.ohio.com and type in Ohio Children's Trust Fund Award. Okay. Coming up in Ohio PTA invites families to learn more about Ohio School Report Cards. Join the Ohio PTA and Department for the next Parent Academy on January 19th at 7 p.m. The Parent Academy will feature a presentation from the department about Ohio State report cards and the reforms coming in 2021-2022 report cards. Yeah, their link isn't working. This meeting that they're offering. All right, so if you go to education.ohio.gov, you type in Ohio PTA invite, just that, and it should bring it up for you. Able to view it. It's from the foundationcenter.org again. Higher education inflation rose to 2.7% in 2021. The 2021 Common Fund Higher Education Price Index found that while costs rose in all 8 cost components, the rate of increase slowed in 3: faculty salaries, clerical costs, and miscellaneous services. Also, more than half of small charities struggling in 5 counties. That should be no surprise for anyone. Juilliard School receives $50 million for Music Advancement Program. TIF will support the school's Music Advancement Program, which actively recruits intermediate and advanced classical musical students from backgrounds unrepresented in classical music. So if you want to learn about that, let me see. That is on newsdigest.org. So it's PhilanThropy, newsdigest.org. And you can look into applying for that program. You can also reach out to me at any time about that as well. We're doing that. Contest. Access to it. Okay, so we're going to need to take another commercial break, I believe. Hold on a second. Yes, we are. I will be right back again.
Podcasting brought to you by Silicon Valley High School, world's fastest growing, video-based, self-paced, teacher-supported, fully accredited online school, recommended by more than 96%. Individual courses are just $95 each, or earn your high school diploma at any age. Check us out at svhs.co.
Oh, welcome back to the New Untitled Education. This is Pamela Clark, and we're going to get right back in news happening across our country and the world. So this is another report from Ohio Ed Updates with news clips. State and local education news. When free free college scholarships aren't enough. Confronting generations of poverty, Cleveland schools partner with businesses to connect thousands of students with good jobs. 74 million report, even as cheers still echoed from the scholarship celebration. District CEO Eric Gordon was rallying businesses and nonprofit groups in his bid to directly attack the generational poverty and unemployment plaguing Cleveland. Program to connect thousands of high school students to real jobs with living wages and a shot at a satisfying life. Working mostly on Zoom during the pandemic, a team of more than 115 Cleveland leaders built planning and career exploitation, or PACE, here to career design to create clear paths to middle class jobs for all students through internships, apprenticeships, job shadowing, and visits to businesses. Then this is reported from Ohio Spectrum News 1. A decade later, Cleveland Metropolitan School District reflects on growth and plans for the future. Today, when Gordon looks at the progress made, he confidently shares that the Cleveland plan that was implemented to deliver on accountability, pre-K to college reforms, and increases in high-performing schools, to name a few. As a result, Gordon said, they are now one of Ohio's fastest improving school districts, even as they've increased pre-K access by 72%, moved into top 15% in the state for improving K-3 literacy, the top 4 for improving math and reading scores, and boosted graduation rates. Also reporting the Marietta Times at the Warren Local School District Board of Education meeting on Monday. Lori Ludwig, Director of Curriculum, discussed building priorities. Receiving the Ohio State report card, the assessment team conducted an in-depth analysis of the 2020-2021 school year, said Ludwig. She said the district performed well and the state found significant evidence that the students made more progress than expected compared to all the schools in the state of Ohio when analyzing growth data. Yeah, Marietta Times reported this. ASCD Smart Brief reports that sharp uptick in the coronavirus cases in recent weeks is presenting challenges for schools, which are working to procure enough tests, adjust calendars, in some cases close classrooms. Nationwide this week, there are about 600 schools or districts that have been closed to in-person learning, according to Burbio. The New York Times reported on this on December 21st. I'm going to look that story up. The Texas superintendent is part of a substitute teaching pool. Georgianne Warnock, superintendent of schools in Terrell, Texas, is documenting her experience as part of the district's substitute teacher pool in a TikTok account. And this is in quotation, the subbing superintendent. So look her up on there. In this interview, Warnock shares why she signed up as a substitute to help fill staff shortages of what the experience has taught her. Reported by Education Week on December 20th. Also, ideas on enhancing curriculum with robotics. Teachers can incorporate robotics into many areas of curriculum, says George A. Valenzuela, author of Rev Up Robotics. Valenzuela offers 4 steps for getting students familiar with the technology. It provides ideas for using robotics in areas such as English, language arts, and social studies. Edutopia reported this full story. Michigan district adopts cognitive behavioral therapy. The district in Michigan adopted a cognitive behavioral therapy program, which is part of the curriculum. As part of the approach, students across all grade levels learn about connections between feelings and behaviors, and students who experience anxiety, depression, or trauma receive specialized support. To look up the story of the associated in December. And we have reports from Middle Web Smart Brief. And it says teacher improves students' understanding by reading aloud. Middle school students can learn empathy, build vocabulary, and improve their understanding of the text through read aloud, writes Carly Van der Wen, a 7th grade language arts teacher. These exercises also promote creativity and discussion, can be used in other areas. Full story can be found at Edutopia. My opinion for that is, yeah, it may help some students, but not all students, because there's some people, some students that can only understand what they read when they're reading to themselves in silence, or when someone else isn't speaking. So it just depends on the student. Every student say that what's good for one student is going to be good for all students. Okay, AFCD K-12 Leadership Smart Brief reports. This one as well. There's an infographic though. It's the making hybrid learning accessible, equitable, and successful. COVID-19 pandemic has forced K-12 schools across the U.S. to reimagine their spaces to include more permanent online education options. Any changes that start as an emergency shift online learning quickly show potential for long-term opportunities. So there's this infographic that covers U.S. K-12 schools, whether making the switch to hybrid learning, inequity, qualities, persist in internet access that affect hybrid learning, and then Verizon is committed to helping schools solve challenges that affect hybrid learning. If you want this infographic, you just need to go on www, the number 2, not written out, just the number, .smartbrief.com, and look up making hybrid learning accessible. And then you can download your document. Smart Brief on EdTech reports that cybersecurity education gains traction in schools. Some schools nationwide are adopting cybersecurity courses to help districts fend off ransomware and other cyber attacks, and also to help students prepare for future careers. Data from code.org finds that 4.7 of high school students nationwide are taking a foundational computer science course, under which cybersecurity courses fall. Full story can be found on the Christian Science site. There's also an article written by Smart Brief Education when and how to implement online tutoring programs. Online tutoring works best when it's enhancing rather than replacing. In-person tutoring experts and school leaders say in this Smart Brief interview that schools should look for tutoring companies with great response times, trained tutors who can connect well with students, and those who coordinate with teachers and provide status, they say. My opinion on this is almost everybody that I know or that everybody that we meet pretty much needs tutoring because of the poor curriculum that the public school doles out. People that come to us are usually, compared to homeschool curriculum, they're usually about 2 years behind what a homeschooler is. And everybody needs fill in the gaps tutoring because you have no idea where the gaps have occurred. And if children are daydreaming and they don't get the better type education where everybody's learning everything at the same time, then it's going to be an issue. Later, they're going to have missing information, and then their grades are going to start to fail, and because they're missing a gap. And it's not only the student's fault; it's the curriculum's fault as well. But and the government's hand in it as well. So, and some of the things they teach are just boring or confusing or frustrating or whatever. So, I don't necessarily agree with that report, but my opinion, that's worth. Let's dish out millions more for broadband projects. The Federal Communications Commission doled out $603 million. Say that again, $603 million. For the $7.2 billion Emergency Connectivity Fund program that helps schools and libraries link to broadband, with the grants extending to 1.4 million students in 50 states. Funding for the broadband projects is also coming in from the USDA. It's awarded $119 million in grants alone to small telecoms in 19 states. Also, in Indiana College, the Ivy Tech Community College in Indiana has launched a new program to train students for careers in Industry 4.0. Students enrolled in the Smart Manufacturing and Digital Integration program learn to integrate digital technology in manufacturing and increasingly in demand skill set. The full story can be found on the Tribune Star in Terre Haute, Indiana. Coloring books encourages young women to pursue STEM. Coding instructor Nia Asmota has developed a coloring book to encourage young Black women to pursue coding careers. Coloring book honors some unsung heroes such as NASA mathematician Katherine Johnson. The full story can be found at Black Enterprise. Do you believe that we need to take a commercial break?
This podcast is brought to you by Silicon Valley High School, the world's fastest growing, video-based, self-paced, teacher-supported, fully accredited online school that's recommended by more than 96% of students. Take individual courses at just $95 each, or earn your high school diploma at any age. Check us out at svhs.co.
Hello, welcome back. This is Pamela Clark, your host of today's show. And we're covering different educational news stories. Right back into it. This one is regarding Johns Hopkins. They received $50 million gift for physics and astronomy. The gift from investor William H. Miller III will fund 3 endowed professorships, 10 postdoctoral fellowships, 10 graduate research fellowships, a cohort of senior and junior level faculty lines and research infrastructure. And then the Health receives $30 million gift for prostate cancer center. And they will establish a Ronald Weiser Center for Prostate Cancer, which will work to improve healthcare experience for patients with prostate cancer and their families. Morgan Stanley launches a $20 million education career initiative. Equity and Education Career Consortium aims to advance equity in education and career outcomes for young adults from unrepresented groups. Look that one up as well if you're interested. Short brief on EdTech reports. Short brief story would be schools open learning hubs to support students. We did that one too. Boy, they're repeating a lot. All right, let's switch again. Let's do Ohio Ed updates, state and local news for Ohio. Local schools township receive funding through ODNR program. The Pike County News Watchman, 16 rural Ohio school districts, their corresponding counties and townships share $1,579,111 from the harvest of timber from Ohio's state forest to Trees to Textbooks program, which operates as part of Ohio Department of Natural Resources, the ODNR, Division of Forestry. Among the recipients were the Waverly City Schools, Western Local School District, Pike County, and 3 of its townships, Benton, Mifflin, and Perry. And then musicians from 2 area high schools part of same New Year's Day parade. Dayton Daily News, a student musician and high school band director are set to take part in the annual Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade. Center High School senior Carter Vallone and Arcanium Butler Local School District band director Heather Marsh Myers are set to be in the New Year's Day 133rd annual event. For decades, the parade has preceded the Rose Bowl football game, but this year features Ohio State playing Utah. Also, a success coach at Dalton Local helps students with anything and everything. Booster Daily Record. Since Zach McFerrin was hired at the school of the start of the school year as the success coach of the Dalton Local Schools, he's been helping students with virtually anything and everything. The position, formerly known as Dean of Students, got a name change to better reflect the responsibilities of the job. Stephenville Fox 9 reports that Leonard resigns as Buckeye Local Superintendent. Kim Leonard resigned as Buckeye Local Superintendent at Tuesday's Board of Education meeting. A joint statement from Leonard and the board stated, Kim Leonard is submitting her resignation as superintendent effective today. She will assist the board in the transition to a new interim superintendent. The board would like to thank Kim for her service to the district and wishes her best in her future. Polaris Career Center prepares students for in-demand jobs. Many adult programs have wait lists. Ohio Spectrum News 1 reports that at Polaris Career Center and Middleburg Heights High School, and adult students are getting hands-on training to prepare them for in-demand jobs. As the trades grow in need and popularity, the school said enrollment was up 37% this year and employees are calling frequent seeking graduates to hire. More than 4,000 students attend Polaris each year. Every student must have a high school diploma or equivalent. Wow, that was a lot. So I think that's a little bit more. We have ASCD K-12 Leadership Smart Brief. The program offers affordable learning differences tests. Investment banker Diana Helford is the founder of Parallel Learning, which features an online program to evaluate and diagnose learning and attention differences and their causes and provide families with clinical reviewed reports within 1 week at a lower cost than the typical assessment. The program also assists families in getting connected to educational therapists, executive function coaches with school districts to meet IEP deadlines. I will say, I'm sure that whatever she's offering is a lot more expensive than what we're offering. You may want to go to school.newheightseducation.org and look up our assessment under tracking student growth. We use 2 assessors, reading success labs, and touch type read and spell. And I know they're both under $35, $50, depending on what level you want to have your child assessed. Student assessed, so you may want to check them out. They're absolutely wonderful, and they provide the same thing. Very inexpensive, and you can do it from your own home. So some smart brief special on education. Guide to help districts share special education access. New guide created by the New Orleans Public School and the Center of Learner Equity, is aimed at helping families of children with disabilities more easily find and apply for programs they need within the school system. Guide explained the district's referral process for 10 charter-operated programs for students with cognitive and intellectual disabilities and those of need of therapeutic behavioral support, and is designed to improve special education and support district-wide. Of course, the full story was reported by WWNO-FM in New Orleans. Also, Coalition aims to aid 1 million teachers of color. The 1 Million Teacher of Color campaign has set a goal to add 1 million teachers and 30,000 education leaders of color to the industry by 2030. Data shows that the increase in school leaders and teachers of color has been outpaced by enrollment of students of color. This is reported by Education Week. Righty, I've been to a few moments early today because I have another appointment, but I thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a happy January, and I'll see you next week for another episode. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget to rate us and follow us on your podcast player. Check out our show page, radio.newheightseducation.org, for monthly announcements and other happenings.